So it's finally starting to behave like spring out here in Colorado Springs. And I was doing another video the other day and sort of thinking about, man, what is it that I want to smoke during the spring? Because I have a pretty good idea of summer. Summer, that's Virginia season, pure Virginias. Fall, burley season, for sure. And then winter, that's when I get into some of the heavier blends. Some English blends, maybe some heavier burleys. But what the heck am I smoking during the spring? So I figured I would come up with a list of 5 blends that I plan to be smoking this season and share them with you. I'm thinking a lot of new pipe smokers might be watching this one because you're trying to get recommendations for blends to try in general. If you are new to pipe smoking, welcome. And also just know that these are not, blends that are designed for the spring or that you could only enjoy in the spring. I've noticed a lot of pipe smokers tend to have preferences for certain blends in certain seasons or times of day. I definitely fall into that category. Hence the things I just mentioned for summer, fall, and winter. But yeah, these are going to be my subjective choices and certainly 5 blends that I recommend. So if you're looking for recommendations, you've come to the right place. But yeah, let's get into it. So my logic in general with this list is spring is sort of like fall in the sense that it's balancing between, 2 of the other extreme seasons between summer and winter. But fall is decidedly darker and browner, hence all the burleys. But spring should be somewhat fruity. There should be a sense of rebirth, but maybe still just a touch of winter's chill. And if pure Virginias are perfect for summer, which I would argue they are, what better way to ring in spring than with a Vapor, a Virginia Perique blend, which brings me to my first blend on the list, Seattle Pipe Club's Virginia Jazz. This is a blend that I tried for the first time in 2023, and it ended up making it onto my top 10 list for the year. Fantastic blend. Definitely gonna get some of those grassy notes from the Virginias. Also some nice fruity notes. I think what I wrote down was a fermented raspberry hot sauce. So some really cool kind of tangy, almost funky notes that come from that one. I think because it has some aged Virginias in there that lend to that sort of funkiness. And I've enjoyed that particular blend morning, afternoon, and night. And I was just having some the other day, I think during the afternoon, just really sipping on it, smoking out of a nice long Church Warden to cool down that hot Virginia burn. And man, was it a good choice for the start of spring. So first one, Seattle Pipe Club's Virginia Jazz. Next up on my list is Savinelli Brunello Flake. If this is one you haven't heard of or haven't tried, you should give it a go. It sort of presented itself to me one day when I was scrolling through smokingpipes.com, and I was just intrigued because at the time I hadn't realized that Savinelli made blends. I thought they just made pipes. And I have a couple Savinellis, so I figured might as well grab whichever one has the best reviews and see how it tastes out of my Savinelli. Savinelli Brunello Flake has this perfect dance between sort of these darker, browner fall flavors, but then these lighter fruitier notes along with some floral notes. And it's really, it seems like a sleeper to me because I don't hear a lot of people talking about it, but I'm a big fan. I actually have a tin, the tin that I just showed you, that I've been aging for the past year and a half or so, and I'll be giving that away once I hit 1,000 subscribers as a giveaway to one of you lucky pipers out there. So, yeah, Savinelli Brunello Flake. Give that one a go. Oh, and I should mention that Brunello Flake is Virginia-based, but has a good amount of burley in it as well, from what I understand. So, we're sort of combining the summer and fall preferences that I have. Speaking of which, number 3 on my list is going to be perhaps an even better balance because it is a Weber, a Virginia Burley blend, and it is Peterson's University Flake. Now, I'm not a huge fan of aromatics, but this one is not an aromatic, though it does have a topping on it. So, for those of you who are fairly new, I don't know exactly where this blurred line sits, but at some point a blend is going to be labeled as an aromatic, and those blends, when they get to that point, they tend to be way too intense for me, and I'm not interested in them. But I have found a lot of blends that have, what are known as like a top note or like a topping, and those tend to have much subtler flavors that really balance well with the rest of the tobacco. And in the case of Peterson's University Flake, it's a plum topping. And I find that the plum is sometimes not even there. You get to go back and forth between this nice, like, grassy hay note and then some earthiness from the burley, and then it bounces into like a splash of plum, which is fantastic. And then it dims down. Then, ooh, here's the plum again. At least that's been my experience. And then there's also a nice breadiness that develops over time, which I always associate with good Virginia tobacco. So, Peterson University Flake, fantastic stuff. Speaking of not liking aromatics, the 4th one on my list is actually a full-blown labeled aromatic, although I would argue that it is very, very subtle in its additive flavors, and you still get a really nice, thick, bready note from the Virginias in it. And this is a special release that comes out once a year from Cornell and Diehl called Sun Bear. And the one that I have on hand, and the only one that I've tried so far, is Sun Bear Tupelo. But my goodness, is it fantastic. It is hands down the best tasting blend that I've ever had that has the aromatic label. And again, I don't know, it doesn't feel over the top for me like other aromatics do. It's bready and thick, and there is a dark amber honey note to it because it is a honey infused tobacco. It also says on there that there's some tequila topping. I don't really get that, but whatever it is that's going on, I'm a big fan. What I do get that might be the tequila is like a fruity kind of blueberry. I don't know what the flavor is, but there's this tea at a tea house down the street called Blue Fairy Tea, and it tastes like this Blue Fairy tea, and fruity blueberry tea. That certainly screams spring to me, and I've certainly been enjoying it the last week or two out here on the porch, especially in the mornings. So any version of Sun Bear, I'm going to vouch for, even though I've only tried the one. I'll definitely be picking up a tin, when they release it this summer. But yeah, Sun Bear, definitely a good one for the spring. And last on my list is what I have in my pipe right now. And if you have seen my videos, you might notice that whenever I'm smoking out of this pipe, my Peterson B11 Fishtail, first pipe I ever bought, it means I'm smoking an English blend. And, just because I said English blends are for the winter doesn't mean you can't smoke them all year long, right? Especially in the evening or very, very early in the morning, which is why I have chosen one of my favorite blends of all time, something I've been smoking for over a decade. Early morning pipe tobacco. And this is Peterson early morning pipe tobacco. Used to be Dunhill, but they use the same exact recipe. Nothing has changed. I've noticed nothing changing in the taste, and my goodness, is this a fantastic blend if you have any love for English blends. It is woodsy and earthy, but not like a dark, like over-the-top kind of campfire note that you get from heavier English blends. This is a lighter one, definitely more approachable, goes good with a warm evening, a warm spring evening, or a cool spring morning. And I don't know, I know this blend so well and I love it so much that it's hard to describe, but it just brings back so many good memories. It feels like you are camping, but you're alone and you're just sitting on a fallen log and you're smoking your pipe before anyone else has woken up, and you're just thinking about what you're going to do during the day and what you're going to have for breakfast. And I do find that the Latakia and those woodsy notes sort of take the front seat at first, but then as you sit with it, some of those fruity, tangy red notes come through, and it's great. I don't know what else to say. It's great. So, if you haven't had early morning pipe tobacco, you really need to try some. I know it's a really, really popular blend, so if you are looking for recommendations, this might not be the first time you've heard of this one. Go get you some. Trust me. Now, I will certainly be smoking these 5 blends in the spring, and I'll probably be smoking a lot more as well. I would love to hear your opinion, because this was kind of a weird one for me. I was trying to think what tobacco blends are springish. So if you have some recommendations, please put them in the comments. This is certainly not an exhaustive list for me. It was just the 5 that really came to mind when I thought about it and looked at my stash. But yeah, I hope you found that helpful, and I hope you are enjoying the evening as well, or the morning, or whatever time it is. And I'm going to go ahead and go. My pipe is getting mad at me because I'm not paying enough attention to it, and it keeps going out. So have a wonderful rest of your day, and thanks for hanging out.